Hi, and welcome to Heaven's Kitchen. I'm your host, Morgan Reynolds. You may be wondering why I'm sitting in a chair, and it's because I'm too tall to stand in the frame. Now, today I'm going to be teaching you how to make claykies. Claykies are just clay cookies. Let's start with the essentials. Apron. You always want to make sure you're wearing an apron while making claykies. You don't want to get clay on those nice clothes you're wearing. Now, all the ingredients we see here can be found at your local neighborhood ceramic studio. Let's start with the reclaim. Reclaim is just recycled clay mixed with water. It looks an awful lot like a pile of crap. Now here we have about 4 pounds in this giant metal mixing bowl. We also have fire clay, ball clay, grog, cluster feldspar, gold art, and red art. Let's move on to step 1. Step 1. You're going to want to take your big pot of reclaim, seen here, and mix in, maybe this much fire clay in with it. Now, this is about 12 ounces. So let's go ahead and mix this in with our reclaim, shall we? Smells like dirt. Now you want to get a nice even spread across the big pile of reclaim so that mixing it can be even easier. Now this is just a paper plate, so we're going to throw it away. Next thing you're going to need is a wooden spoon to mix up these ingredients together. Now, when you're mixing it up, you want to make sure that you don't get any sort of clumps of... Ooh, you got to watch out for those explosions. Make sure you don't get any clumps of powder left. So as you can see here, we still have a good ways to go because this is pretty much just powder still on top there. See how I'm turning that? Okay. Now, the next ingredient you're going to want to add is the gold art. Now the gold art, you're only going to need about half as much as the fire clay that you needed. So same thing. We're just going to kind of sprinkle that across the top. Watch out for that spoon. Very good. You're going to want to make sure you don't breathe this in at all. You might want to hold your breath the entire time that you're making claykies because this powder by itself is very toxic, and if you were to breathe this in, it would fill up your lungs with it, and then if you were to ever catch on fire and your body would burn, your lungs would be the only thing remaining because they would just be clay, which I think is just really funny. Now next thing, sometimes your spoon breaks completely in half. Don't worry. Let's just go ahead and put that away, and that's why we carry extras. Okay, now once you get those 3 ingredients mixed together, you're going to want to go ahead and include the ball clay. Same thing, let's just sprinkle it in there very evenly. Now, as you're mixing this up, you may find that it's going to be really dry and really tough to mix. So, what we want to do is add just a little bit of water. Refreshing. And if you get a cup that drips all over your leg, like I did, no worries, we'll clean up after. Now, once you add in the ball clay, the last main ingredient that we're going to need here is the red art. Sprinkle that on top. It looks a lot like cocoa powder, but you don't want to breathe this in like cocoa powder. You also don't want to breathe in cocoa powder. Ooh, there it goes. Alright, the last 2 things we want to go ahead and add in together are the smallest amounts of things. We need cluster feldspar and grog. Grog is a little bit gritty, almost like sand, worse texture to it, and that's what's going to help the clay not stick so much. Because the last thing you want is it sticking all over your hands while you're trying to make things with it. And then we'll add in the cluster feldspar, which looks an awful lot like flour. Hope you don't get those 2 confused. It's looking really good. Once you have all your ingredients mixed completely together and your trash thrown away so that no one gets hurt, let's go ahead and take a pan, and we're going to go ahead and line it with aluminum foil, just so it saves on dishes later. next thing we want to do is make sure our hands are completely clean. You really don't need to do that before because this is just clay and not real cookies, so it doesn't matter if your hands are clean. But this time, it's good to make sure they're clean just so that we don't get any other ingredients mixed in with our clay. Let's go ahead and take a big ball of dough. We're just going to roll it up into a little ball. Put them about, I don't know, maybe 2 or 3 inches apart. You don't want them too far, but you don't want them too close either. That would be bad if they ran together. Now here's my favorite part. When you get all of your fingers like this, just go ahead and give it a little lick. Quick reminder, don't eat these. These are not for eating. It may smell like good, but it isn't. They're not. They're not good for you. Okay, now that we've spread them evenly across the cookie sheet covered with foil, let's go ahead and put them into the oven. Smells good. Now, we're going to want to let those bake for about, 2 days. Now, you can see that since I'm wearing different clothes, it's definitely been 2 days. Smells great. Don't they just look delicious? Well, this has been Heaven's Kitchen with Morgan Reynolds. Thank you for watching. We'll see you next time when we make acid tea.